It seems like only yesterday. And we're back.
Be like a long-winded.
And we're back. From what?
From our adventures. We've quested.
Oh my gosh.
Gone through dungeons.
I know. For those of you that don't know, we are also in a campaign together with Dungeons and Dragons. Are we allowed to talk? I don't know the etiquette of it. Can I talk?
What happens in D&D stays in D&D?
Yeah, but can I talk about my maneuver that I was able to do?
Yes, and then we're gonna focus.
Yes, and we're gonna focus. So I'm learning. Okay, yeah, you can be more creative. You can do these things. And our wonderful DM is teaching me all this stuff, and so I was able to I'm a tiefling, and I had this crossbow, and I did this flip over this knoll, and I was able to point at point blank my crossbow and shoot it into the skull, taking out
the soft spot.
And right in the soft spot, and then flip over and do a thing. It was awesome. And I
and you landed with grace.
I landed with grace, poise. That was fun. That was a lot of fun.
It's pretty awesome. Did I do good in describing the action?
It was cinematic. It was cinematic.
Like Jet Li somersault, shoot mid arc on the somersault, get in the brain, knock its eye out, and it's like all twitching.
It was beautiful. Yeah. A tear formed. Welcome to Meets in Midgard. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. I am Mac. I don't even know what it says on my social anymore. If it's my real last name.
It's Mac Valentine.
Okay, I am Mac Valentine.
I'm John Sturdivant. I say it like Batman. And this is
Barbara.
And you Barbara's slowly been making more of an appearance on camera. She started off as just a voice, then a hand, then occasionally a head popping out. And now we finally are I think last episode 2, we had you more on camera. So here, finally.
There's 3/4 of me.
I haven't This is the secret to losing weight is to just slowly throw your side off camera. So yay, we're all here. We have a great topic today, and we're talking about Kindred Life. Being in a kindred. Yeah.
It's kind of like Thug Life still.
It is kind of a Thug Life. So stick with us. I will be dropping a link in the comments as well. If you would like to join us on or in a chat, we can all chat as well. And as we go through these topics. So stick around. We will be right back.
On the west coast of Skrelly's land, in the city of the trees, a heathen man heard the call of gods whispering in the breeze. He reached out to a selected few, those who knew the lore, to those who could see beyond the veil and saw the world tree's core. As the old gods arise anew, foes are many, friends are few. Gather round and join together. Let us learn from one another. Meets in Midgard. What do they have to say? Meets in Midgard. Where you're gathering today. Meets in Midgard. Hear the wisdom of the Lord. Meets in Midgard. Promise you it'll be no bore. We speak of modern applications to the ancient ways of how to apply the High One's words in this present day. Not only Odin's wisdom, but Loki's cunning wit, and how no matter who you are no misfit. So whether you are near, or whether you are far, whether you are just beginning, or have been on this path and winning, you are welcome to join us here, and you don't need to fear.
Welcome back. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to another Meets in Midgard. And look, I have the some information up about our recovery group. Actually, before we dive into the Kindred, can we talk about some Kindred activities and stuff that are coming up? One of the big things that we have is we a person in the Kindred, Chris, is spearheading a recovery group, a heathen and pagan recovery group. And it is Arcane Awakening is a way to go at gmail.com is a way to get in contact if you're interested or need that resource. And once we have it up and running, we will be opening it up to everybody. But right now we do have,
And we have started the Signal group.
we do have a Signal
So
chat
if people want to
as
get in there
well.
and start like
Yes.
chit chatting or need support now, it's there.
Mm-hmm. So that watch for that coming up. We're taking our time with that because we want to make sure that we're doing it right and we're being thorough. And Chris, thank you if you're watching. Chris, thank you for all that you do. And
he's
we
been working really
appreciate
hard
that.
too. Like he's got the job description or the job description. He's got the description of the group up. And instead of 12 steps, he's doing 9 pillars. So he's got that up and going. So we're making really good headway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's coming up. Also, for the in-person monthly meetup at Mystical Celtic Heart, I just want to give them a shout out really quick as well. Mystical Celtic, they because we provide our classes and teachings for free, they do not charge us for a space to do that because it is community based. Huge thank you to them for their support for the pagan and heathen community, very much so we meet there, and we are talking about polytheism, for
Paganism 101.
paganism 101, for
The 20th, which is next Saturday.
yes.
I'm the secretary.
I feel like I'm just like I keep looking to you like, am I? What?
You're not having me in eye contact now.
I know.
Information.
I know. I'm like, I have this checklist in my head. I know, like Barbara's always going to come through and be like, da 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 right behind me to support. So thank you, Barbara.
So it'll start at 10 a.m.
And that is at 10 a.m. And we run for about 2 hours. So that gives us time to go over the topic and to socialize as well and hang out with people.
Yeah, so far the weather's not going to be too bad for next Saturday. We will have shade and then doing a small potluck just to kind of build frith.
Yes.
Take space.
Small snacks.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And we are currently working on a few other projects as well, behind the scenes as far as a kindred, but like holidays where we are going to honor as our specific kindred and things like that. So there are a lot of good things happening, more topics for podcasts and other people teaching classes in there. So it's just a lot is coming
And our
up.
next podcast will be July 19th.
July 19th.
We are planning on having a guest. We know it's a Sunday. You guys will be out of town that Saturday, so we're moving it to Sunday. And I think that's about it for now. We're looking at having Lance from the Circle of Oak and Tide group. He'll be doing a folk magic class.
Yes.
At Mystical Celtic.
Yes.
And that is July 25th. So.
Which is exciting. So good stuff coming up, and that's good. So yeah, that is Kindred Biz for Yggbladir.
For today's topic.
Speaking of kindred business.
Right. So what does the word kindred mean to you guys?
Yeah, so let's talk about Kindred Life. And what does kindred mean to me personally? I have to say right off the bat that the fact that the word kin is in it is just like the heart of it. And kin is chosen, it's blood if you want it to be, It's a family that is just a community that operates as a family, as a cohesive unit. So that's really kind of what kindred for me means, is a group of people working cohesively.
For me, it's very similar. It is the community, chosen found family, people that you've built relationships with who have become more than just acquaintances and casual friends. It's the ones that you can call on in the middle of the night when you need help, you need support, and you are doing the same for them.
For me, it's community, trust, a sense of safety.
Yeah.
I know back on May 28th, we asked our Facebook community pretty much the same question. Christina, she's always at our meetings. She said friendships. That's a big one for her. And then NorCal Heathen, they're up in. It's either Reading or Red Bluff. I always get them mixed up.
I think it's Reading. Yeah.
He said his biggest thing is Frith.
Yeah.
So it seems to kind of go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
Similar thought process. So, John, what needs does a kindred have? Or what does a kindred fulfill for somebody who once was doing solitary practice?
When I first got into heathenry, I was considered a solitary practitioner because I was apprehensive of meeting other heathens because of the concern of running into folkish, the white supremacists who use heathenry as a veneer to cover racism. That is just against me. And so I did a lot of just practicing on my own. And when I started reaching out and exploring the greater heathen community and pagan community, kindred, it helped me feel like not alone and not so isolated, and that I have a community of people that are also practicing, that I can share doing rituals and the celebrations with throughout life. Because I feel that you get a greater reward on the spiritual level when doing a ritual celebration with fellow practitioners, people you've built relations with, than doing it on your own. You get a reward, but for me, I always felt like it was missing. I know there are people who they just want to do their own little thing, and that's cool. No problem.
Kokona agrees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If there's people who you are doing the solo, but you feel like there's something missing, that might be it, is that community and shared energy and connection.
What about you? Because you once were a solitary practitioner.
I was, and John, you made some really valid points and some things that I related to as well. And there's benefits to both. Solitary practitioners, and as compared to being in a kindred, and both have risks that you take. When you are exchanging energies and with other people and stuff, there's always a risk involved, and so there's a level of trust that has to be built to exchange that, and have that. So
it seems like a level of vulnerability you have to be comfortable with too.
Absolutely. And that's big, and that's uncomfortable. It is. So yeah.
Yeah, and also because with heathenry is when you're doing a bloat or symbol with other people's, you are mixing your weir and their weir together, and so that's where you you want to really know and trust who you're doing that with, because you don't want to just like some guy you met, a week ago, because
And I think it's not
Yeah.
just like
questionable.
that person, right? It's the people that they surround themselves with too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
they're mixing their weird with other people. And so if they're not being mindful of what they're taking on and intertwining with themselves, as they're sharing that with others.
It just popped in my
Without
brain.
consent.
It's like the whole like, oh, when you sleep with somebody, you're sleeping with everyone that they've slept with, and like,
Yeah.
it's kind of the same way
It really
with
is.
weird, is like everything, like you said, is everyone they're interacting with on like the regular, you're mixing your weird with them too.
Oh,
The only
yeah.
downside is there's no test you can go down to.
Yeah. I hope there's no spiritual STDs going on.
You could. Yeah, I need a cleansing. Rip out that sage, because. But
Can I get some pills for like spiritual chlamydia?
I do want to. I do want to point out for solo practitioners, there's 2 really good resources that I recommend, and these are 2 books. And I think one of them is on, or they might even be on. If you go to our link tree, we have a section of books that we recommend with links and stuff. But one of this one is the Northern tradition for the solitary practitioner. Such good advice, because not everybody is able to physically be in a kindred, and so they might have like online interactions, and they're just, that is their only option, is solitary practice, and that's fine.
Geography is like, sometimes you're the only heathen in like in 200 miles.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and would you say that these might be good resources? Like, let's say that typically you're going to kindred meetings and you're part of it, but something's happened in life where like maybe you just need to take a step back and pause while you're doing some self-healing. It's a filler, essentially.
It is, or you're going on vacation during a certain thing, but you still want to,
And also, if you're interested in heathenry, but you're not ready to like jump into the greater pagan heathen community, and you want to like learn and get a good foundation for yourself,
and start off.
Those are good starters.
And I started off, solitary was. I think a lot of people do.
Yeah. That was the second heathen book that I read.
It is such a good book. And this other book is good too. I'm not a fan of the title, but it says A Year of Viking Rituals. But when I first started out in heathenry, I wanted to be able to like, okay, my whole thing, I start off very reconstructionist, and we'll dive into that later, but because I wanted to like rebuild and be as authentic as I possibly could and stuff. And so, but as I learned and matured in the faith, I was like, okay, it's what I make it, and it is these things. So I found a lot of inspiration in this book for things that I vibed with, as far as like how things lay out. So it's a great guide. You can use this verbatim if you wanted to, but it's a good one to start hand in hand with the solitary practitioner.
So let's say that you don't have to be a solitary practitioner and you have kindred. What responsibilities do you guys believe that the members should have, or what expectations beyond just showing up to a class or showing up to a barbecue?
Well, what do you think? Because we've been answering the questions.
I think for me, one big thing is mutual respect and being mindful that it might, because for me, it's not just heathenry. There's other things. And so I need patience from others when I'm learning about heathenry or whatever. Like our kid is trying to teach us Taoism. And I'm like, my brain does not compute.
Yeah, I know nothing about it. I'm excited to learn. I mean, but yeah.
So it's autonomy, right? Like, we're all coming to this group and we're not going to be identical. Otherwise, it's not genuine.
Yeah.
What, we don't have a dogma script? Like, this is the holy book of Thor?
You know what? When I first started practicing heathenry, that was a big thing for me. I was like, because I'm trying to reconstruct this thing, and I'm like,
Where is the
how is
sacred
there
text?
no dogma? It was dawning on me. There's no dogma, to this. It's not a dogmatic faith. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. And it was hard because, I was started off raised Catholic and then went to that non-denominational Christian thing. And then, and so my mindset was I still had that structure. And that's common with a lot of people that are ditching that. And it took a long time to like get my mind
Gotta
out of that way of
unlearn
thinking.
stuff.
Yeah.
And like, it's so fun, not funny, but like John and I are members of the Church of Nome.
Yeah.
And and most people like think it's this
It's silly
comedic thing.
Yeah.
And like the guy actually did like Nomian proverbs, and when you read them, it's really like land wights and spirits. And it's just it hits home. You're like, oh.
Well, and the thing, because like gnomes are land spirits, they're part of the fae, and so it actually, to me, is like it's the thing. It's a real thing because there are land spirits. But to the question, like, what do I feel is, as an individual, is important for members to bring to
or their responsibility
is accountability, mutual respect, participating and building that reciprocal gabo relationship with people in the group. How I always try to approach things is, even though I'm working in the Kindred, I've been doing. I still look at myself as very new to heathenry, even though I've been practicing for like 15 years. I try and approach when people come to our gatherings as I remember how it felt being the new person there. So I want to make sure that I interact with everyone there, acknowledge them, make them feel seen, make them feel that they matter even though they're new. And I feel that everyone should try doing that, because that's how we build a community, because it's not necessarily just show up for rituals.
There is no try.
There's only do. But I love that that people are acknowledged and seen, and that you do actively do that at these when we meet in person. I always feel like when someone else is teaching, I feel a lot like you. Like, I've been practicing a long time. I still feel like a newbie when someone else is teaching, because I don't know it all. I'm never going to know it all. And all I could do is know what I know at this present moment, and then be open to learning more,
I am the constant student.
Always. And so, when we talk about having leadership roles, like with us in the Kindred and stuff, I'm going on a tangent now, but, but, it's difficult for me to accept a role in leadership, because I don't feel like, I'm at that level, but other people see that, and they're like, you know what, you're good at this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no. But it's so easy for me to recognize and see those things in other people. Like, like I know when we're with us, and I'm like, this is why I think you would make a great, blah, blah, blah. And this is why I think you would make a great blah, 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 and it's like, are you just saying this? Have I earned this? And I'm like, yes, you have. And I think that is an expectation that goes into the Kindred and what from other people. Walk in with humility.
I think another expectation that I have that we haven't talked about is the gabo. It's not solely for our Kindred. I have every expectation that those are in the Kindred give that same care, love, and mutual respect to a stranger walking down the street, to somebody who is transient, we should be treating people like people.
There's a quote, and I'm not going to be able to quote it exactly, but it's, I judge people by how they treat somebody who can do nothing for them. Because how you treat like your boss or like some important bigwig is completely different than how you're going to treat the server at the restaurant, the transient on the street. Is how you treat those people, the people that in this weird class society that we live in are beneath you on the scale. How you treat them is how I judge you, because if you treat them as an equal, that says something about you.
Yeah.
So like a shared ethic is important.
And that kind of leads us like into the next question, right? Like, how do you personally contribute to the health of a community? It's not our Kindred community. It's the park down the street. It's
the community, like the Kindred and our greater community.
Right. The community you live in. We don't live in the same community.
And it's not just that. I mean, the active word in there is contributing. You are putting something into it, you know. And again, I just want to. You had talked about Gabo, and I want to go back to that. So for those of you in Norse heathenry, you know, Gabo means a gift. It's this exchange of energies, this reciprocity, and it's done with the intention of not expecting anything back, but knowing that if you had to make that call, you know, that person would be there. And it's because you have that respect, that bond, that friendship, and it's reciprocal, and it works like that, you know.
So, and it's like, you know, John and I were part of another group, and it was nice. We met some really neat people in there. Couple who I still adore, and they are not heathen. And there's a couple of times where they were wanting to do like rituals at a park and do camping, and we unconditionally donated money. We had extra money at the time, and it was like, hey, you guys do your ritual. Go fucking enjoy it, you know? And it was really disheartening that when it came to time and need, one person from that community was willing to try and help, even if it was passing the word. And now, mind you, there's 2 years in between. You know, we had one of our Kindred members that are in that group that was like, you know, I'm not sure how to build a lawnmower, but I'm going to give it my best shot.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about, and I adore her, but we all do.
You know, like, yeah, sure, she may not be able to do that task.
Right.
But just the fucking thought that it's like, if she had that skill, she would be there in a heartbeat. There was no question of, you know, where do you live? How much gas am I going to have to spend? And that itself is Gabo.
Yes. That energy. And there's, you know, there are people that I just are in, even because of who they are. And you know that is bank, you know, that this person is their word, and that word is gold. You can count on it. And so that is an exchange. The energy, it's not just take or give. It is a balanced, healthy exchange, you know, and that's what it is. It's not an exchange, and it's not an exchange because you feel obligated to do something, you know. It's because that relationship is there.
Well, in somebody I always look up to, not just because he's tall, you know, my uncle, you've met him, is he, when there is a problem, when there's like something's going on, his first thing is, what can I do? Regardless of who you are, how he knows you, any of that. And that's kind of like was a role model for me on how I do that. Is I always try, you know, I'm not looking at helping somebody because maybe I might need help further down the road. It's like, I want to help you because it's the right thing to do, and it makes, you know,
makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. And it's like, if I'm not willing to help somebody that fight for a cause or help somebody that just like, I don't expect this person ever to be able to pay me back or ever to see this person. Like somebody else had a road with a flat tire in the storm.
Yeah.
I'll go and help them fix their tire.
Yeah.
I don't expect that because situations, I may be that person next time, and I would love to have somebody just come and help me out of the kindness of their heart.
Yeah.
We've been in that situation.
And there's exceptions and boundaries, right? Like if somebody's broken down, getting out and helping them, does it pose a danger physically?
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
Can I get hit by a car? Well, I'm not going to do that, but I can get on the phone and call the emergency line and say, hey, there's this person that's in distress.
Yeah, but be wise about it as well, you know, like, for sure.
So, like, you know, back to the community, it's us sharing knowledge. It's us sharing the things that we have, you know, is at my work, for example, it's one of my clients hadn't been able to go grocery shopping. And she's standing in the corner looking like she was about to cry because she had no food. It's Friday.
Yeah.
So it's okay. Well, I have these crackers. Another one of my coworkers went and bought frozen burritos from another client that started his own entrepreneurship. It's kind of cute. You know, bought her 2 burritos. So she's got food for the weekend.
Yeah.
You know, are those 2 people in our kindred?
No.
Would they ever join our kindred? Probably fucking not.
But are they in our community?
Yes.
Yes.
And that's what it's about. It's about helping.
Absolutely.
Just because.
Yeah.
So, and that kind of, again, like we've lined ourselves up. Like, what does Frith in everyday practice look like?
Oh my gosh.
Because we're building the relationships with Frith. So that ties into community too.
Yeah. On a kindred level, let's talk about how our kindred works in Frith with the community. And the money we raise from doing Krampus at Mystical Celtic, money that we put in our own pockets and stuff, that the time and that we donate goes right back into the community. We have helped people in, we know, at the time of groceries, funeral, you know,
presents,
fuel.
All that money that we make, it goes right back in, you know.
You're the guy outside your house that said he was your neighbor and we didn't.
You know,
it's back into the community. We're bringing Mac back, and this guy approaches me and John, and he's like, you know, my mom just went to she got life flighted. I need gas to get off to Frisco. And we're like, we had literally just gotten back from an event.
Yeah.
And we were like, here's $40. Now, turns out, dude's not in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
We gave $40 to a stranger. But that's okay. Like, whatever his reason was for lying, he obviously needed that money. And some aspect of it, that's his truth.
Yeah.
Well,
you know?
Us doing that kindness, whether or not there was dishonesty on his part, that's on him.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. You're, and this is another expectation, you know, I would assume for anyone in the heathen or pagan practice, is that accountability for yourself. You guys acted honorably for yourselves. You know, what he does and how he acts, it's on him, you know.
And when we think about Gabo too, like, this is a good example. Like, we give to this person who's not in the kindred, but it's part of our kindred beliefs, right?
Yeah.
For the last 2 months, like, I've been really sick. I had non-paid days. Like, we needed help. Somebody who I've known since 2012, who would never join our kindred because it is nowhere near her religious or spiritual beliefs. We walk different paths of life. She ordered almost $200 worth of groceries and had them shipped to our house.
Oh, wow. That is awesome.
And
you know, without
did
asking. DoorDash.
$100 DoorDash.
Wow.
And it was, you know what I mean? So it's like, Gabo is not necessarily, I do this for you, you do this for me. It's, we help out of kindness of our hearts. It comes back tenfold. And my most cherished thing about that situation is that our daughter, who is high functioning autistic, struggles on social cues, looked at us in that moment and said, oh, so when we need help, there's people that actually want to help us.
Oh man, that is what a feeling, and that's important. Oh my
Right?
gosh.
Because it hopefully teaches our younger generation that if we do things a certain way, if we build that frith one way or another, we support each other.
Right.
There's
It-
only one life we have.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I've had people in my life give me crap because I'm a kind person. I will help somebody. I've been burnt many times, but that doesn't make me not help people. And they're like, well, you're just a sucker. And it's like, well, I'm not going to not help this person because these people over here burn me.
Yeah.
They don't get to make me not a kind person. I may not help them in the future,
Right.
but that doesn't mean that I have to not be helpful for other people, because doing that, it always comes back. It may not be the people I help, but I've given like the last $20 I had in my pocket to a homeless couple that, at work, we're having to clean out this homeless camp, and they're like, we haven't had a meal in a day and a half. I'm like, here's $20. Go. This is a traumatic experience. Go get some food. You are seen, you're cared about. And somebody's like, well, they're just going to do this, use it on this. I'm like, I don't care what they do. They went to the Jack in the Box and got themselves food.
In
Yeah.
that moment, that's what they felt like
That's
they
what
needed.
that's what they needed.
Yeah.
And people are like, well, how $20? But you know what? I found $50 at work, later that week. It's the universe pays it.
Yeah.
It
So-
comes back to you.
And
Yeah.
when that happens, like, how do you guys maintain good relationships or deal with disagreements when it comes to your beliefs, whether it's somebody in the kindred or outside of the kindred?
It's hand-to-hand combat every single time.
So you just like do a flip and then stab them in their soft spot.
I do, and that's my signature move. And being that I'm still
Fireball.
alive means I've been winning all this whole time. I'll let you. I'll go first.
You first.
So okay,
Okay.
so I have to say that with disagreements and stuff, I have really matured in this area, because I've learned that certain people are deserving of your time and your energy, and there is an effort that you put into that, because you have that bond with them, that relationship. Or even if you don't, you just have that feeling, and you're trusting your instinct, the lagus, okay? And there are people that absolutely just are not worth your time or energy. So I stop feeding into it. And this has really been a big thing. So when it comes to disagreements, or within the kindred, my take on it is this: is this a relationship I'm invested in? Okay, then this is how I'm going to approach it. I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to say, this is how I'm feeling, and blah, blah, blah. We've, even as close as we are, there have been behavioral things that we've
We've
talked
had
about
to set some boundary.
with each other. Yeah. And we talked about it like adults, as
Right.
it should be. We weren't like, backstabbing, bitches on a chat and behind each other's backs. We confronted each other and we talked about it. And I think that translates into the disagreement part. So, and then there are some people where it's just like, you know what? I'm not invested in this because of my own reasons. I want to maintain peace in my life. So I'm not inviting this in my life. And I will just cut it off completely. And I don't owe that person an explanation. No. It is
Oh my
my
God.
time, my energy.
We try to get our daughter to understand that, because she's like, oh, well, that's just ghosting somebody. And I'm like, that term is so fucking stupid. First off,
yeah.
If I have done my due diligence and I've had conversations with people and they're not listening to the boundaries or making me feel safe, I do not owe them an explanation.
Right.
I do not owe them a phone call and say, hey, guess what? I'm ending this friendship because you're a fucking douche.
Yeah.
We've had that conversation.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Yeah. I mean,
I'm
you
not
are.
busting out a flow chart to explain why
Right.
I'm just done with you because
And it goes to family too.
Yeah, and you're under no obligation to do that. My whole thing is maintain your peace.
Mhm.
Maintain your peace.
On the ghosting thing,
Yes.
right? Is I actually read an article in, I think it was in like I don't know the issue, but I think it was in Psychology Today, where ghosting, the reason why it's like it's a thing is it's always been a thing, but it now has a term. You're ghosting somebody,
Right.
is when you do not feel that you have to validate and justify why you're ending connection with somebody, and just don't want to deal with that, because you don't have to explain why I need to, here's this 5-point thing on why I am unfriending you and
Right.
why I don't want to have any contact with you. It's just
Right.
like, I'm done, bye, peace out.
But at the same rate,
Yeah.
there's a self accountability for that. So, like, if you had a meaningful relationship with somebody and it has to end, then and you're like, you know what, we've had this talk, goodbye, blah, and end it. But if it's like someone that I hardly knew or whatever, I am under no obligation to a stranger. I'm like, okay, bye, whatever, I don't care.
Well, I've ended, like, I've had friendships that became progressively more toxic and abusive.
Mm-hmm.
And when calling the person on it, then I get this like fucking 20-page thing about why I'm the bad person and I just need to do this, this, and this. And I'm like, cool, I'm done. Bye.
Yeah.
And I end it. I don't feel I have to do that explanation banter back and forth with
Right.
people.
Yeah.
If you have this long list of all these transgressions and flaws with me, cool, you made up the list. Awesome. Bye.
Yeah.
Out.
Yeah.
And I think when it comes to the kindred too, like, and we're thinking about disagreements,
Mm-hmm.
I find it helpful to have the mindset, okay, is this person trying to be helpful or are they trying to be harmful?
Yeah.
Right? Because sometimes our disagreements might be that maybe because I'm not an auditory person, maybe I'm not understanding what this person's saying.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they're trying to be helpful. Right.
Right.
And that's where, like, we go forward with grace and say, hey, like, these are my boundaries. Like, this is what I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm.
If this isn't what you're saying, like, can you help me?
Right.
But if they're being harmful, they don't need to be in the kindred.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they just don't need
It's
that
like,
energy.
is this a disagreement because we have two different viewpoints
Right.
on, like, well, I think we should use regular traditional mead or we should use this raspberry flavored mead? Disagreement on that, or like, I think people who are not of white European ancestry should practice heathenry, and I think everyone should be able to practice it if they're called to it.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a
Yeah.
that type of disagreement. I'm like, cool, you go your way, I'll go my way, and we'll just do our own things and never cross paths.
Exactly. Some things are non-debatable.
So, and when we're thinking about situations like that, the disagreements and stuff, and people being accountable for themselves, how do you guys balance the authenticity and that?
My whole thing is, what you see is what you get with me. I pretty much am, right when you meet me, I have a feeling most people are going to get a really good read off of me of like what I represent and stuff. So, and I just want to maintain that,
You vote Trump, right?
without a doubt.
I feel like when people look at me, they just assume I'm an asshole.
I don't know. I think, people, if I'm not speaking, I probably look like I'm mean mugging, but then I start talking and they're like, girl. but so like, there's no room for, and I'm an open book. There's no room for like digging up anything from my past because I'm so open about it, so
Right.
And I think
like, what's the point of hiding shit?
Yeah, so like, for me, and have I been young, dumb, stupid? Absolutely. but for me, being authentic all the time, that integrity. Someone had said integrity is what you do when no one else is watching. And it's like, okay, I start my day every morning casting runes and blah blah blah, and I say, okay, what kind of man am I going to be today? What kind of person, And so that is a shift, a fundamental shift that just happened within the past few years for me. It was a maturity, a growing up thing, and I think that that's something that. We also have to allow people to feed off other energies because when I'm around a certain group of people, I may be a little more like flamboyant or something because I'm feeding off that energy and stuff.
Well, and because you have that thing in common with somebody else, you feel safer.
Yeah.
To let that out.
So that's that's relationship building, and that's building frith, and so that's I think a big thing of it, like being authentic.
Yeah. One thing on the last question about like disagreements and stuff like that is if you have a disagreement with somebody and their response is not to like have a debate about something, but to become disrespectful to you as a person and do personal attacks, that says something to me about that person and where you fit in their value.
Yeah.
And like that's where, to kind of segue into the behavioral and authenticity and accountability is when you run into somebody like that, or I do something like that, I totally am open to people putting me, like, calling me on shit because I am not a perfect human being.
Oh yeah.
I will argue that I am not. I am like so full of flaws. I am like a bunch of flaws and like some bad decisions and like a little misadventure sewn up, and then bam, that's me.
I wanted to say I am open to criticism all the time because again, I come to that table as a student every single time.
Help me be a better person.
I am not, I'm not. The only time I call myself a sensei is when I'm giving my niece piano lessons.
So, and I know that this is like Kindred Life, and when we're talking about that, again, it's not just directly what we do within the Kindred, right? And so when I think about authenticity and accountability, I think about like our work life, right? Your boss leaves for a day, you should be the same person at work when they're not there that you are when they aren't.
Exactly.
And if people are doing things that are harming others, it is our job as heathen, pagan, whatever, to stand up for others and do the right thing.
Yeah, to have them all, it's like when you see evil, speak it.
We were just
stand up
about
against
yesterday.
it. Yeah.
When you see evil, speak it, call it out, give it no quarter.
Exactly. And oh, damn it.
Stupid thought fairy.
Wait, what were you just saying though?
About accountability, about basically doing the right thing, doing what you're supposed to, having that integrity,
and being the same person.
Being the same person, whether you have 100 people watching you or nobody.
So this wasn't on the list of questions, but but I want to know from your perspective, both of you, your Kindred Life. I know a lot of people have circles. You have the circle that. So how is your Kindred Life? Does it really just kind of overlay on the rest of your lives, or are there parts of it where you're like, this wouldn't apply here, or are the lines blurred, or you?
I think it's like a blended family. Like it just kind of all goes hand in hand. Like I come across situations and I'm like, what would John do? Right? Or I'll come across another one and I'm like, I wonder what Dustin would do. Right?
Yeah.
Because I value
Mhm.
those in my kindred circle, in my chosen family circle.
Yeah.
And it's like we have people that associate with our kindred but haven't come out of the closet and been like, I'm part of the kindred, or
Yeah.
I'm pagan, right? That it's natural.
Mm-hmm.
I really quickly before the thought leaves my head. So for those of you that know, I'm going back to work. I'm able to telework, and I'm going back on Monday. So this past week, that has been my focus, was getting ready for it. And so I knew a meeting was coming up, and I'm heavily medicated. And so my first thought was, all right, what would Barbara do? And I sat down and I proactively made bullet points for
So proud of you.
myself of what I expected from myself while I telework from home. And I sent it to my boss ahead of time, and he was so grateful. Didn't even make any changes to it. He was like, "There you go," blah blah blah. And it was because I thought,
I'm so
"What
proud of
would
you.
Barbara?" And I was like, I was like, you know what? I'll remember to do that. And I could hear you saying, "You better go do it now." You like, start typing it now. And I was like, okay.
Do it now before you forget.
Yeah. And so like that was an organization thing, but it's along those lines too. I think
Right.
you've influenced me and in that, and it's established good habits with me.
It's like when we have a bad brain day, it's like sometimes I'll blow out the runes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all right, let me see if I can do what Mac taught me.
And like when my job, like the tasks that I have to do each day vary. Some of them are just very routine. I could do it, just put on a podcast, I'm cutting some vegetation, stuff like that. And other ones, they're difficult. They're ones like, this is kind of shitty. I don't want to do this, but there's a paycheck involved.
Yeah.
When I'm approaching those difficult tasks at work, I think of how I'm handling this and approaching this. If my daughter and my nephew and my family was to watch me, would they be disappointed in my attitude I'm projecting? And I also look at the story of Ragnarok, of how the gods, like, they knew a bunch of them were fated to die. They knew Odin went into battle knowing, I'm going to be the first one to die. But he didn't flinch. He didn't falter. He didn't hesitate. Thor knew he was going to kill the world serpent, and that serpent was going to take him out too. He didn't falter. He didn't hesitate. He knew what he had to do, and he did it. And that's what I always, if they can go into this cosmic, end of the world battle without faltering, when it's difficult, I can do these difficult jobs at work with a smile on my face and approach it with the same attitude I do every other task.
Yeah. And I think too, like branching out from just our two families, right?
Yeah.
As you guys know, I've been struggling with bullshit at work. And so I have had the mindset where it's like, okay, if this was Jessica and Richard running their company, would I be okay with sitting back and watching employees treat Jessica and Richard
Oh
like
my
this?
gosh, yeah.
And the answer is no. And so, I find strength in that to be able to bring it forward. Or saying, this other, member of our kindred, they have a kid with disabilities. Would I feel safe recommending our program to their kid? And the answer is no. And it's like, okay, then I have to do something.
Right. You have to, just when you see it.
Yeah.
And especially in a case where it is harming somebody else. Right. And if it is harming someone who is less fortunate or unable to do things, that's even worse. Right. It's like you got to be a certain kind of evil to turn a blind eye to that.
And this, to answer the question, like that's how it's blended, right? Like my everyday decisions depends on the situation and who I think of in that moment.
Yeah.
Or if I'm in the grocery store and there's strawberries, like I think of another person's story and like what fucking strength they have.
Mm.
And it's like,
I
want to be like them. Like,
Yeah.
they're a strong human being.
when I meet people, I rate people by two standards.
Dick or
One,
not dick?
what?
I said dick or not dick?
Kind of. One, if we were both 5-year-olds,
Hmm.
would we play together, or would you be somebody I didn't feel comfortable playing with?
Mm.
True.
Two, are you, as an adult, are you somebody that on my worst time when I needed an adult to protect me, would you have been somebody I ran to
Mm.
or somebody I didn't feel comfortable with? That's how I rate people. If the answer is no on both of those, I'm not bringing you really into my inner circle.
Yeah.
I'm not bringing you into my inner garden.
And I think those are like fair expectations of our kindred members,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
it's not just our family. Like, we have other families involved, and it's like, we're open, we're inclusive. But if I don't feel safe walking away to go to the bathroom with my kid there,
Mhm.
I really don't want you in the kindred.
Yeah.
Like, we have to be able to trust our members with each other's kids.
Because I know if Barbara and myself are not there and somebody tried messing with Annabelle, you, Mac, and Rocco are going to fuck them up.
It's gonna
Well, and I
be
know
a
that,
scene.
like,
It's gonna be a scene.
It's going to be
Jessica,
orange tape.
Richard, Chris,
Yeah.
like,
Lori.
right? Like,
Yeah.
there's so many people that,
Yeah.
you know, would do the SmackDown. And here's the thing: there's some people that might not,
Right.
right? But I know that they would stand in front of Annabelle
Mhm.
to block her and protect her.
Yeah.
Right.
Or if there's, because
They would
she's
do
autistic,
another
right? Like,
way
there's a
of
noise,
protecting
like,
her.
they would probably go over and cover her ears,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so it's just
You
the
don't have
simple
to go
things.
to violence for our daughter.
That's just
Yeah.
what we
Be
do.
protective.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and I do want to talk about, and I knew we were going to get to this somewhere, but we're kind of on this subject now, and I want to just talk about protecting the kindred.
Mhm.
And so being in a leadership position in a kindred automatically comes with a set of responsibilities and surprises that you think you know it all, you've learned it, and then something else happens. But there's going to be confrontations and stuff, and I think that people realize that leadership is responsible for the safety
Right.
of oh my god, Alexa. I wasn't talking to you,
Nobody
but
was talking to you, Alexa.
I love the fact that she was like, "That's a big word for you on a Saturday."
Alexa's roasting me.
So, but yes, so the difference between conflict and disrespect, like, how do we keep a healthy kindred, and how do you guys respond to each of those things?
It's keeping a healthy kindred means that everyone in there is feeling safe, that their needs are being met, and that they're able to contribute in some way, in their own way, whatever way that they're possibly can. And there has to be that.
And I think too, like, when we were kind of going over the notes, you said that the person has to have a spine.
Yeah, you can't. There are responsibilities, and you have to make those decisions. You have to make wise decisions, and take your time and know the facts, and be willing to learn lessons as well. I think that this is my first time help with you. You guys were absolutely amazing when it came to starting the kindred. It's my first time diving into this and doing something like this, and I have learned so much, and it's nothing like what I thought it was going to be.
So when you guys were both part of a kindred prior, possibly more than one, what were your guys' takeaways? Like 2 pluses and 2 negatives?
You first.
So I really liked that feeling of belonging, and I think that a lot of solitary practitioners are looking for that community and stuff, and so they're reaching out and trying to find it. And I was, I have to admit, there were times where I was desperate to join a community, and I probably shouldn't have, because of that need. And so I want to build a community where people are not having that same regret, So the sense of belonging was important, and learning. I like to come to the table every time as a student, and so learning was a big thing. I think the two things, red flags for me, are automatically, one is transparency of leadership.
Yeah.
If there are secret things going on and blah blah blah, it just leads to discourse. So seeds of doubt that just don't need to be there, and it just creates drama. So I think there's transparency from leadership when it comes to a kindred, and also is the kindred what personal interests are serving the people in leadership. Are they truly serving the community? Are they truly doing this, or are they chasing clout and a title?
Right.
Those are two things that for me.
For me, two positives is like Mike said, that community, that spending time with the kindred and members of the kindred. Because to me, being part of the kindred is not just like we do this ritual every, however, is it like 6 weeks on the wheel of the year? There's a ritual celebration, and then you don't see them for another 6 weeks.
Mhm.
That's not really building a kindred, because it's doing that, and then when you're there, you're like, oh yeah, this cool. We're gonna go do coffee, and then we're like, our families are going to get together like 2 weekends down the road. We're gonna go see a movie together, and doing things outside of spiritual practices is what really builds a community. And that was something that in the group that I was in, that I was really trying to foster and do. Mm-hmm. Having like those outings and that connection and that support that you can get with that's the other thing. It's like really a positive from kindreds. The negative is like like you said, transparency with leadership. But when there's gatekeeping, which gatekeeping is, well, you need to do these certain things before we let you into this. When there's leadership, and then there's these just different circles within circles of hierarchy, and like who can be a member and who can't be a member, and then you get the
members within members.
Yeah, the members within members, and then members who feel that like new people need to approach them. But if you're on this fucking high up pedestal and you're putting on this non-approachable aura about you, new people are not going to feel that they can build frith with you to get into said community. And then you're complaining about them not building frith with you. It's like, well, that was a problem. And it just like the cliquishness that can grow in those types of kindreds, where it is not, you may say that they're inclusive, but they're really exclusively inclusive. Like, we're only going to let you in if you
think exactly the same way we do.
And I think that's one of the reasons too why like we do the podcast, right? And we put it up raw. Like, we don't do any fucking editing.
There is no filter. This is how I look.
For us, like, we have a lot of people who are in the state, not in this country. It's how we can build frith and be transparent. Right? Yeah. Because hopefully at some point, like, somebody's been watching or listening for months, and they're like, you know what? I feel safe. I feel like I know these people. Maybe I'll show up to a class. You know, the no gatekeeping. That's why when we worked it out with Jessica and Richard that we could do these free classes, it makes it even better because we're reaching out to the community. we're involving others to teach
Mhm.
their knowledge. And we're not saying, oh, you have to pay me to learn this thing.
Right.
There,
right.
there is no anyone who like presents heathenry or a lot of the pagan things as like there's this secret knowledge and you must go to this level before you can get that. Everything I know, you can find.
Yeah.
Everything he knows,
Yes.
you can find.
Yes.
Everything she knows, you can find.
Yes.
It's out there. It's free. It's
Right.
like buy the books, do the research.
Because we had to learn it from somewhere.
Yeah. And there is
Right,
no
yeah.
like secret knowledge that you have to ascend to, and that's when you get into that gatekeeping, that where it's like, do I really want to be a part of this group if they have like exalted levels and
You know, one thing you hit on, I
paid membership?
kind of want to go on it, is like, it's not just about learning, it is about enhancing your experience as a heathen, as a practitioner, you know.
Yeah.
It is, so it goes beyond just like book knowledge. That's great, that's one thing, you can read all the books, have all those things, but like there's some people that don't know a lot, but their energy and their experience, like they have this old world magic about them, you know, and you're just like, oh man, I know you don't use the same terminology as I do or whatever, but I am learning, you know. I am like, it's a thing, and it's different, and so it's like to be open to new new ways of thinking and learning. I was strictly Norse heathen for the longest time. The longest time, that's all I was, you know. And now I see how many ideas and thoughts and beliefs are shared with others, and there's something else that just grabs my attention. I vibe with it. I'm like, I'm not afraid to invite that into my path.
And,
Real quick, is on my statement of paid membership. National organizations, I get it because you have lawyers and there's a lot of legislation. Smaller groups have paid memberships, but if you're paying into an organization, look at where that money is going, because there are some groups where it's like you're paying in like small groups where you're paying, and it's like you're paying basically so the person running it doesn't have to work.
right.
And that's where you got to question things. But if you're like paying into a small Kindred and like everyone, hey, we're doing like $20 yearly membership, and that pays for you guys to rent the space for like these campings and like these big, because there's a couple Kindreds back east where like they have these big week-long celebrations, and I'm pretty sure they have paid membership, and that's what that membership goes to.
Right, but there's transparency in that leadership.
Yeah,
right.
It's when there's paid membership, but then there's no transparency of where that money's going, who's using this. That's when you really got to like, because doing this stuff, it costs money. Being a national organization costs money. We are members of the Troth, which is a national heathen organization. Their membership yearly is like, was it like $60 for a family?
Yeah.
Which,
and for that, when you're thinking about it, like that's helping them pay for whatever platform they use. That's helping them, you know, get out their newsletter. Like,
because they do like legislation for religious rights. They do
well, that's like the
offer classes,
prison outreach, and they have like scholarly programs. And like you were saying, the Satanic Temple is like again, that's like
the membership's free, which is what's
free, and then you just pay for like you want the certificate and the card. Cool, that's like $35. That goes for them keeping the organization going, and they do.
I mean, they've opened virtual clinics for women. With that money, and that was one of the reasons
women's
why
rights,
we put into it.
Reproduction rights, giving pushback on the where you get the religion, where they want to have like have Bible studies in school, and like have after school programs. Like, cool, awesome. We also want to have this as an option too, because if you're going to allow one religion in in a school, which is a institution of higher of education that's funded by the government, then you should have all these others also.
My favorite one that they did was, I don't remember what state it was, but there was somewhere that wanted to put up like the 10 Commandments or whatever.
Oh
It was
yeah.
they wanted a
passed.
life-size
Yeah.
replica of the
Baphomet.
10 Commandments
Yeah.
in a county courthouse paid with taxpayer money. It's like, cool, awesome. We also want this represented.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they got it passed that they could have put Baphomet in the courthouse.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. Is
It
like,
was so good.
if you are going to allow
Right.
one religion
Yeah.
be able to be in a school or a courthouse or whatever that is a public building paid for by public money, you should also represent any other religion or spiritual practice that does that.
And we're not pushing the Satanic Temple. We're just saying
Right.
that as autonomy, there's
Yeah.
this thing that exists.
Yeah.
I am
This is-
so leery of any religion that says this is the one and only true way. You know, when you that does not translate into a real world life experience. You know, if you learn and you grow, you're like, oh, there's as many ways to practice as there are people. You know, it's just such a thing.
Yeah. And that goes on, like one of the questions that we had was, you know, what are warning signs that you've encountered that might be unhealthy for a heathen community? And I don't know what word Annabelle was saying. It was cute. But the gist of it was that she was trying to say that, like, indoctrination is a warning sign.
Oh, yeah.
What was it?
Yeah, when
Conformism.
Yep, that's that's exactly what she said.
Conformity.
Conformity. For me, a big red flag in the heathen community is, for me personally, is anyone who is like any level of folkish
Yeah.
leanings. Because people are like, well, I'm a hard folkish, I'm a soft folkish. You're folkish, cool, awesome. Not my cup of tea.
So any racism, really.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And for me also, it's like the greater pagan community is I kind of steer away from any group that is one gender leaning versus the other. Because I've been to something where it was, you know, because I was a male, he
got treated like shit.
Kind of basically treated like shit at a weekend outing. So it made it really not inviting for me to do anything else with those people.
Yeah.
Because when it's advertised as this is a family community camping trip, and I go and I'm being treated like crap by
But then they want to ask him for help because he's tall.
Yeah.
And I was like, don't you do it.
Yeah.
It's like,
glad to have me now.
I helped the people that treated me nice and were cool with me.
Yeah.
And the people that didn't, I didn't help them break down their tents. I watched them struggle.
I added to their struggle. I threw pine cones from a distance.
So we're coming up on time.
Yeah.
Okay, but really quickly, what was your first point before you went into that one?
Folkish.
I just want to say, when I read a book or I see someone post a book or I see, I haven't been on TikTok in a long time, or a TikTok or something, the first thing I do is I Google that. I Google the shit out of that thing. I look for any signs of white supremacy, bigotry, any type of ism.
I have
I do.
It's not 100% accurate, but it's a good thing. Is if it is a heathen book and it is a black cover with white print or red print or black and white red print, 9 times out of 10, that author has folkish leanings. It's not 100%, but a lot of times you'll see, or if it has the sun wheel.
The sun wheel.
Like, this is heathenry. It's like, that is a Nazi symbol invented by the Nazis.
Yeah, Othala with wings, or there's symbolism I look for.
And you said any ism.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I want to add that goes both ways.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there are people who claim that they are heathen and blah, blah, blah. but then they have no problem saying all Republicans should be murdered.
Right.
That is not what we stand for.
No.
Are there people of different political beliefs that might have, really shitty opinions compared to what I believe? Yeah. But they're still a fucking human.
Yeah.
They don't deserve to die. Now, if they kill a kid or do something really bad to an innocent child or somebody with disability, there's an exception to every rule.
Right. Yeah.
Right? I don't care what religion or political point of view you have.
Right.
You're a kinky predator. You deserve to die.
You're
in my
going
book.
to die.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I'm
But
saying
the
that. I'm not doing
sexism,
it.
the racism, the hate.
Yeah.
Like, we are supposed to be kind and help each other.
There was one of the crew on the Artemis when they went around the moon was like looking down at Earth, and you don't see borders, you don't see wars, you don't see all this stuff. You see one planet, and it was like, we are all we have.
Yeah.
We got nothing else.
I mean, we might have Bigfoot and like portals, but that's for a different podcast.
Carl Sagan, there's this famous picture, the pale blue dot. It was when the Voyager was passing by, I think it was Jupiter, they turned the camera around and they took a photo of the Earth. And the Earth was the size of 1 pixel. And it was this pale blue dot in the sea of black.
Yeah.
And he said all of humanity's struggles, triumphs, atrocities, entire history happened on that little pale blue dot in a sea of stars,
universe, of planet,
and like the amazingness of our world, but also the smallness and how we're really all on this planet together, and not these labels, borders, categories, political ideas that we all have in varying degrees. Is like, we're all people, we're all humans living on this planet, just trying to do the best we can, and hoping that shit doesn't go sideways on us. I mean, I always keep in the back of my mind is like, we're all driving on the freeway and we're all just agreeing that we're not playing bumper cars.
There's
some that are questionable. And not that I'm going to get up. They swerve into my lane.
And it's just like, we're all here doing the best we can and trying to make it through our day and through our lives. And we need to just be kinder to each other.
I think if more people, went out and just started talking to each other, or people that they have differences with, I think they'll find out that they have more basic necessity needs in common than differences.
I had a discussion with one of my retired coworkers. He was Republican, very, he's like, well, I'm very conservative, and we were talking about like firearms and different political issues that are very like, left is this way and right's this way, and I'm like, we're talking about it, and he realized like, we actually have the same view. We're just looking at it from different angles, and it's like the media is what's. He's like, he's like, I just realized like it's the media that is projecting this like one side or the other, and you can actually, there's a lot of common ground with people on issues.
We have more in common, than people really think.
So like, when it comes to our kindred, the culture that we're trying to build is essentially the same point of view that you guys are talking about when it comes to the world, right? In a year from now, one of my biggest hopes is that somebody who joins will feel like they can come out of the closet, whether that's sexually, spiritually, religiously, whatever it is, so they can just be their authentic self. They know that they can come to our meetings or to the park and hang out with us and just be. They don't have to change their voice. They don't have to have a mask. And when you think about it, it's like somebody who's autistic, right? Like, that's kind of how I gauge people is like, if our autistic daughter can unmask and be who she truly is, you're a safe person.
Yeah. I
Forgot what he was saying.
He's speechless.
I didn't think it was that profound. My bad.
What was the question again?
What kind of culture are we trying to build within the Kindred? And if somebody joined a year from now, what would we hope their experience is, or what would they say to the community?
I want to just hit on something that has really stuck with me that John said, and that was like when we have these meetings and stuff. I'm gonna hear it later. But when we have our monthly meetings, and John makes eye contact with people, he acknowledges every single person, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't think I do that. And when he talked about how it makes people feel seen and welcomed and stuff, I want that same thing. I want when someone comes to one of our Kindred meetings to be like, I was recognized, I was respected, and I felt safe and I felt good being there. And I want to go back. I want to tell my friends to come with me. I want to teach a class, something. But that's what I want to foster.
We want people who come to Kindred meetings, or even if they join the Facebook group, we want everybody to feel like they can say this is our Kindred.
Yeah. And our vision when we first got together was exactly that it is going to belong to the people. That it is not. We do have leadership because it's necessary. But as time goes on and the Kindred goes, the leadership will change. There'll be votes and the whole bit, but it will belong to the people. And that is that was our vision.
You mean I'm not chieftain for life?
I mean, you could be. I mean, you can start laying down the laws now.
New law.
New law.
I am chieftain. Leadership is passed down through blood.
So, and I think the roles too, they're not like your stereotypical, right? Like he holds the title of chieftain.
Right.
And what that looks like for us is that, I'll come up with an idea of like, oh, we can, do this with the money, and I'll bring it up to you. And you're like, you know what? I think that sounds pretty cool. Why don't we ask John? Like he gets to be the final yay or nay, because sometimes his perspective is different than mine or different than yours.
Exactly.
And we hold each other accountable. Yeah. Well, we're like, hey, that was kind of dickheadish. Like we need to reevaluate. Yeah.
And I like
we shouldn't spend it on Bitcoin?
No, definitely not.
What I like is like, if we know a decision needs to be made, you and Barbara and I will like look things up, do whatever, and we present it, to John, and you could just take us at our word, but I know that you go and you do your own thing in your head and and you do this thing. So it's not like, you could trust us, but you have a process. And I think that's one of the things that makes you a good chieftain is like you have a reliable process that you operate at, and that it's consistent,
Well, and on the question, like one thing that I'm hoping, like, when somebody new comes to, a class or an event that we're doing, is sure, we may be the ones running it, but I don't want them to feel that there's this like unapproachable, like you have to get clearance from these other people before you can, approach our throne. Because that's the thing is like everyone needs to be approachable at all levels of leadership in an organization. And if you are not approachable, then you really shouldn't be in a leadership position because you're making yourself where you are not welcoming to people to come to you. And that's what leaders do, is we're leading, we're not bossing.
Well, and I think for the leadership, right, is that we're the schedulers.
Yeah.
right? Like
Mhm.
you come to us
Yeah.
with an idea, cool. This is what it looks like. Like we are that communication point between mystical Celtic and the rest of the kindred.
Mhm.
You want to come on a podcast and, present something? Cool, let's fucking schedule it.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
let's sit down. It's like Chris, right? Chris
Yeah.
came to us and said, hey, I really struggled with AA groups. They didn't fit my beliefs. I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel welcomed. This is what I would like to do. Cool, let's fucking do it. You're going to
Yeah.
run it,
Yeah.
but we're going to be the planners. We're going to help you get this off the ground.
Mhm.
We'll help you, kind of look over the comments, make sure that people aren't being douchebags. I'm trying to think of the word.
Signal
Like
or
admins, right? So if you think
oh
about
yeah,
if you think
the
about
mods.
yes.
The mods.
So if you think about like a Facebook group, right? Like we're the moderators for the behind the scenes stuff, but Chris is heading this project.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
his.
Yeah.
That's his
Like
thing.
he wants to schedule a
helping him.
meeting on a certain day. Cool, bro. Like we'll get it scheduled. We probably won't go.
Yeah.
Not every time, but we'll go to support you
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
because we know how important this is for him and our pagan community.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
We also will hold other people accountable. We have a deal with Mystical Celtic, and our relationship with them is, even without the kindred, is so important to us.
Mhm.
And it's
The-
something we've been building over years.
Right. And
Yeah.
so if there's something that
That
could potentially
threatens,
threaten that,
yeah.
like as leaders, we're gonna say no, this is the boundary.
Yeah, we have to make those hard decisions.
Right?
You have
And
to
that's
be
that spine, that's
have to
that
be
alligator
comfortable.
skin.
You
And it-
have to be comfortable doing that, and I think a lot of people aren't, and that's that comes with protecting the kindred.
it's like running a business.
Yeah.
It is.
Right? Like if you're a business owner, what would you do to keep your business
It's
going?
protecting the kindred, protecting the community, protecting the Frith and Gabo that we've been building. Because not doing that, protecting those relationships and those bonds is very destructive, because it takes years to build those relationships, but it only takes a moment to destroy it.
Yeah.
Oh, it does.
And we want to be able to pass this down to the next generation, right? Like for us, it's not just the now.
Yeah.
This is something that hopefully our kids and their friends and other kids in the kindred or the community are like, hey, like, let's keep taking care of each other.
Yeah. What if Annabelle is the next chieftain, or Rocco's the next chieftain?
She's not going to be the next chieftain. That girl cannot handle that. But she could be the accountant.
But or even Chris's son, at some point, to take over and be in this.
Or because our kids are who they are, maybe there's two of them that share the same position.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's whatever they can do with their morals that we're helping them build. Not because it's what we view, but because it's the right thing to do.
Right.
So going with that, what would you tell somebody who's heathen or pagan that's longing for community but is afraid to join the kindred? What's your advice? Because you've been there.
I have been there.
Both of you.
I don't. I'm not going to speak ill of anybody or any other kindred, because it serves no good whatsoever.
It would just be harmful.
It would just be harmful. But I will say this: I had an experience that shifted my desire to be in a kindred. but the feeling of wanting to belong didn't go away, and there is a real I think a real need for that when you're practicing heathenry, to have community. And so I didn't know what I was doing, but I just started something on Facebook. and by connecting with people and stuff and building relationships, shared ethics, shared ideas, we found that we could do this together. And that is exactly how it started. That's the way it should be working all the time,
And continue.
and how it will continue to work is it can't be done all by one person.
Yeah.
Other people need to jump in. It could not be possible, with you. And my heart goes out to like people who are really trying to do this, and they're just not getting the right people in there to help or assist them. Um, and I keep, my message is keep doing it, keep showing up, even if you're the only one showing up on a live event that you had booked. Keep doing it. And I know it's discouraging and stuff, but there, in time, it's going to click. Someone is going to grab onto that, and they're going to be like, yes, I am the same way, and I am going to be there.
Well, and here's the thing: is like it may not even be like they're gonna be like, oh yes, I'm gonna physically join the Kindred and verbally say that, right?
Right.
But however, somebody could be listening to our podcasts that might not be in a great headspace because of bad experiences. Hopefully, just by listening, it keeps them going. It keeps them knowing that they're not alone.
Yeah.
So every group's not going to be the same.
I'm a big advocate about talking about things that make you feel like you're the only person experiencing it, because it really opens up to a lot of people being like, oh, I feel the same way. I've been there. And so that translates into the Kindred. I want people to be open with their experiences. And when they have an experience with our Kindred, I want it to be a good one. I want it to leave an impression, and to really feel that we are genuine when we talk about building a community.
What is your advice, John?
There are good kindreds out there. There are good organizations out there. Yes, there are ones that are not desirable. There are, there's a national organization that, I do not endorse. I don't even want to say their name. But there are good kindreds, physical ones that you can go to depending on your geographical location. But there are also online ones. Like I think both of us are members of, Red the Viking. He does a YouTube channel. He also has a Kindred, but they're in Georgia.
And Ocean.
And these are people back east that were on their page and will do interactions on commenting on them. But we're getting support from people that are on the other side of the country that I cannot go to their thing. But if I'm in the area, I'm pretty sure if I'm like, hey, I'm in the area, could I participate? I'd be invited.
Oh, yeah.
There are good heathen groups. There are good kindreds. There are good pagan groups out there. Even if you're not full on Norse heathen, if you're like, I'm Norse heathen, but I also have Wiccan and this, cool. There are groups out there that will embrace you and that will, even if it's a virtual one, they'll give you support. Pull that. If you are doing, I want to make this statement on our, if you are a kindred that's doing virtual things, that you need a bigger platform, ask other kindreds who have Facebook pages if you can post advertise. I mean, I'm fine with.
Oh yeah, I'm always like, if I see,
because if we get an invite, if we get something like you want to post, we're going to do a little research, make sure like your ideals align with ours. Because if you're like, we're a hardcore folkish group and we want to, no, you're not advertising. Probably just like unfollow our page. But if your ideals and our ideals are similar, I have no problem helping them promote their platform because they will help us promote our platform.
And I think a good example of that is NorCal Heathen.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
They're mostly just online.
I'm going to go ahead and say his name, Kenneth, because Kenneth is I love Kenneth.
So there's times where I'm sitting there thinking of something and I'm like, fuck, where would I find that? And I'm like, you know what? let me check Kenneth's page. Maybe somebody's posted something, and I often come across things that we don't necessarily post or talk about, but somebody in his group does it. So for me, I don't personally feel like a part of the Kindred for him.
Yeah.
But I feel like our Kindred is part of North County.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because we as a Kindred attend some of his book clubs.
I feel like it's like a cousin Kindred,
Right.
And I know that, he's Reconstructionist and ours is more open. And this is such a great example of two paths just kind of coexisting without conflict.
And he comes onto our page and things that aren't directly heathen, he's still participating in.
Yeah.
And my hope is that everybody's learning from each other.
Yeah.
So, but
absolutely.
I think that would be the advice is like be open-minded, because what it seems like when you first glance at it, it might be like an onion. There's layers to it, and you might not resonate with every bit of it, but you might resonate with one piece, and that might be fulfilling.
I mean, I'm gonna put a plug for another Facebook page I really dig. Seeds of Yggbladir.
Seeds of Yggbladir, yeah. Yggdrasil.
Yggdrasil, yeah.
I know. We're Yggbladir.
That's what our kids group would be called. Seeds of Yggbladir.
Like they do like these like AI where it's like the Havamal and have like a quote, and then you click on it and it is this little essay about that. I think I sent one about where loyalty can be damaging when it's loyal to people that and to things that are not where they're exploitive, where it's like they expect that blind loyalty. And to have stuff like that I find really interesting. And it's weird because I'm like, I have like a thought and I'm contemplating something. I usually find one of those posts that correlates with what I'm pondering. It has like some more further information for me to ponder, or sometimes like answers and viewpoints on that.
Yeah.
So
I'm the elder. Can I give some old man advice here?
Yes.
So,
yes, Grandpa.
For people,
the youngsters giggling.
For people wanting that, because you need that, you want that community, and you want to join a Kindred. I truly advise you to be self-aware of your emotional needs as well, because being a part of a Kindred is like being a part of a family. Divorces are messy, arguments will happen, blah blah blah. You're really putting your weird into this. You're putting that energy, life force, and if you don't join out of necessity or desperation, I should say, don't join out of desperation to fulfill an immediate need. Take your time, build a relationship, do the research. A meaningful relationship is built slowly and with intent. And so, and when you come to one of our Kindred meetings, I want you to know that is our genuine intent, is to be like, okay, you are safe here, and this is a good place for you to be, and to have that feeling of belonging. And but take your time. Don't just jump in. And you might be listening to us thinking like, oh man, these guys are saying all the right things. And I totally feel that. You know what? Still take your time, still be aware of where you are emotionally for that sense of need,
and being aware of your why.
Yes.
It's like when you get a job and you're like, why am I here? Why am I doing this? Why are you joining the Kindred?
Yeah.
Right? And then like what you're saying also comes with boundaries, right? Because and that's why we have many different ways for people to be a part of the Kindred, right? Is yes, we're a safe space for you to come to classes. And if you're having a bad day, cool. Like, hopefully the class takes you out of that dark place, or you just had an argument with your spouse or whatever. Like, hopefully we've created a space where you can work through that and like pass through that, right?
Mm-hmm.
On the flip side, though, you're spinning your rear.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're not in a great place where you think you can come out of that,
Mm-hmm.
maybe that day is not the day for you to join.
Yeah.
Maybe go to one of the other ways that you could be a part of the program. Still message, still email, text.
Mm-hmm.
Be involved at a level you want to be involved.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I have this thought.
Mm-hmm.
Having a good foundation of what you believe can help protect you from
Mm-hmm.
getting seduced in. Because if you go like, I want to learn about heathenry, but I only watch the Marvel movies, so teach me, and then
Yeah.
you're going to learn what they teach you.
Mm-hmm.
But what they teach you may not be
What you thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
What?
So having
Yeah.
like sometimes like for me is because both of us, we were solo practitioners before and so we had that good foundation of whether it's heathenry or whatever your spiritual practice, it's always good to kind of figure out as an individual, your base.
Mm-hmm.
So that way when you're going out into the greater communities, you can not be easily swayed by snake oil salesmen.
Yeah.
People who want to kind of like, hey, join my cult.
Yeah.
Well, and it's the same for paganism,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's not the craft. It's not practical magic.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Bewitched.
Right.
I got in a debate with a coworker because they're asking me, well, what about this Viking god? And I'm like, what do you mean this Viking god? And they're like, well, is was it like the God of War video game where it's like
gosh.
Ragnarok and it's I'm like,
that's a video game.
Right.
That's a video game, and because the deity that he was naming was like from Greek mythology.
That's like somebody going to a taekwondo center and thinking that they're going to become Sub-Zero.
Yeah. So teach me a skill where I like shoot the chains out of my hands.
Right.
It's like
I won't throw my hat and chop somebody's head.
it's like that movie, the Barbie movie, when Ken first goes into the real world and he expects to just become a CEO because, he's a man. That's like, the whole thing. That's what he saw, without any experience whatsoever. So you're right. To time to get a foundation.
And to wrap it up, like, I think the gist of this is that there's a lot of moving pieces to Kindred, right? It's not just one thing. It's like an umbrella, and then the umbrella is the Kindred, but then each spoke that holds the umbrella up is each of those aspects.
It is. There's a lot to it. My whole thing is like I like to believe that I'm a simple man and I do simple things, and I wanted.
Our pirate voices, simple.
Well, it changes every fight.
D&D is completely accurate for the game.
I will grace them with the pirate voice one day.
I think it should be today.
But what was I even saying?
You're simple. We try keeping things simple.
Oh, simple. So yes, and it goes along with the spokes and all this stuff. Is as simple as transparent as we try to be. People are complicated. Relationships are complicated, and some things are going to get complicated. And so, don't go into a Kindred thinking like everything's going to be 100% rainbows and marshmallow clouds, But we are going to really try to foster an environment that leaves people with positive experiences.
That is the goal.
Yes, and we want to enhance your journey as a heathen, a pagan, and if I like what you said earlier, like, you don't have to know everything all the time. You just, I do know this, and then they can teach it, You don't have to be an expert on it. It's just like, teach us your experience of how you've lived this part, you know.
Be cautious about any organization, whether it's a kindred or just any pagan group, that like as soon as you go there, they want you to do some kind of oathing in, or like
We have to
especially
wear
if it's a
something
blood
specific?
oath, or if like you must have this. We all must wear these white fluffy shirts at every ritual.
Or you
because-
must wear Thor's hammer. Like,
Yeah.
you don't have to.
Yeah, you don't have
No.
to do. You know, you do you.
We've
Find your people. They're out there.
we actually, because we've talked about those and stuff, and just like to me, and just how important they are, and the whole bit and what they symbolize. Even us as a kindred, we haven't even oathed to it or anything, and for different reasons. It's not because we're like afraid to or anything,
I am.
but but you know,
Thor will strike me down.
that is a practice of our kindred.
Yeah.
You know, that is not a necessary thing, because your word should be your honor, you know.
And because we're inclusive. We're
Right.
not just heathen. We're
Right. But if
opening up.
if, let's say Dustin and I wanted to renew our vows,
Right.
I would bring out that oath ring, and one of you guys would be performing the.
We will be wearing our gnome hats.
Yeah, you know. So, but like for us, our word is our bond, and that's a good warning sign. Like, you know, to be careful about people that want you to jump through hoops.
My brother Eric always told me is if your word doesn't mean anything, then you don't mean anything. Your word is your value.
That's very heathen too.
Yeah.
So on that note, do we have a button thing that we can click where we share our email?
Yeah.
So if you guys have topics that you want us to talk about on the podcast, or if you have interest in being on the podcast, shoot us an email. We will get it scheduled. Mac is typing. Comedic relief.
Max typing because I would be like, why they keep hiding the letters on me? Where's the Q? Where's
Okay.
I'm horrible at typing.
It's.
Okay. I before we go, I want to hear your pirate voice. Come on, do it. Do it. They've been waiting this
Okay, I'm gonna-
entire
Wait, is
episode.
it the gay pirate voice or just the
It's
D&D?
pride.
It's the
I'll do my
D&D
D&D.
pirate voice, but his character is
Is, you know, a little.
little
there's a little
so
sugar in
therefore
the
it
tank.
This is really bugging
pirate. Bugbear? Is that bugbearing
This is
you?
my bugbear. So I'm gonna close
So
that
close
out.
it out
I'm
in
gonna
your
close it
pirate
out in my
voice.
pirate. I'm mateys. So if you be choosing to contribute any talent you may have,
Not any talent.
well, a reasonable talent with the community and the podcast, email us at Yggbladir@gmail.com. That be our kindred email. That's how it be. Ho heave, ho high. Thank you for joining us today.
This is why DMing's hard.
See you guys next month.
See you next time.
I know, yeah. Yay. Bye.